Okay. All right, we're all eating. You're not eating, Dustin. Did you eat dinner like a responsible person before this?
I did eat dinner. I'm long done with dinner.
My dinners, I've been like screwing around with them, man. Like I've been serving my kids dinner. And I'll just stand there and watch them eat because I'm not hungry yet.
Yeah.
But it does make the afterwards process better when like tonight we had flatbread pizza. And my younger ones didn't finish theirs. And I was just going to eat like leftover chicken. But then they left them out. And I was like, oh, all right. Scooped them up.
Yeah.
They were good. Above par.
Okay.
Frozen flatbread pizza.
Okay.
So I'm feeling good. Okay. This is the Life of Chuck episode. But I have a note here, Dustin. Oh, we'll probably do that in the outro. That makes more sense. Okay. Hey, please enjoy the Life of Chuck.
Here it is. This is the thing you're about to listen to.
When you look up at the night sky, it can tell you stuff about your future. It won't lie to you. It's pure that way. You might see a lot more than you wanted. But if you have heart, you have hope. And you have heart in you.
The world, Chuck. Everything you've ever loved. Everything you see. Every year that you live, that world will get bigger and brighter. And more detailed and complex. You fill the whole thing. It'll be a universe. Isn't that wonderful?
The Life of Chuck. The Life of Chuck is this is a 2024 film. That's interesting. What's that all about? Oh, because of the film festivals?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for God's sake. It's a 2025 film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Released in theaters in early June. And it is written and directed by Mike Flanagan, a mainstay of this show, at least for me. And it is based on a novella within, I think the book is called If It Bleeds. And then one of the novellas in there is The Life of Chuck. Short story, basically. So, and that may surprise people because it's not like a horror film.
Yeah.
It's not scary. And it's pretty positive. But Mike Flanagan and Stephen King are like kindred spirits. Like after enough, like, collaboration, like with Dr. Sleep and, what was the other thing he did? Gerald's Game, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I liked Dr. Sleep. This is coming up a lot on the show for some reason, cosmically. It's, I liked Dr. Sleep. I liked Gerald's Game. I like Mike Flanagan's stuff. And Stephen King's stories tend to make good movies because they're, pretty rich stories. So, and then of course I went to go see this movie because this was shot here. This was shot in Mobile, and then there were parts of it that were shot over in Baldwin County. I remember when they came to town. I remember seeing the Instagram posts when Chiwetel Ejiofor and some of the casts were at the Eastern Shore Lanes, where my bachelor party was, bowling with Mike Flanagan. And so, I was like, oh, that's cool, and so I went to go see it, and Dustin, you couldn't see it because it wasn't available to play.
Yeah, the theater that I go to has the poster in the lobby. And so I've just been like, I'll go see it when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then I come down to it and there's no show times.
And that is weird because it's usually me who's like, oh shit, Dustin, I can't, it's not playing. And it wasn't playing in the Nexus theater near my house, but that place has a very narrow release list because there's only so many theaters in that tiny building. And so that wasn't surprising. And then I went on AMC's website and I was like trying to find it. And I couldn't find it. And I was like, is this shit not playing? Like, in Mobile. And then it was like at the bottom of the list, like below Minecraft and everything. I was like, this is a new release. Like I'm seeing it on Thursday night. I'm seeing it like I'm among the first people in the country to see it.
Yeah.
It was just weird. The placement was weird. Normally the new releases go at the top.
Up at the top.
But there it was with like its 3 showtimes. I was like, shit, I better get on it or I'm going to miss it.
You're going to miss it. Yeah.
So this film stars a number of Mike Flanagan mainstays, of course, not including Tom Hiddleston and Chiwetel Ejiofor, but then you've got people like Karen Gillan, who has worked with Mike Flanagan before in Oculus, and Mia Sara is in this movie. And Carl Lumley is in here. Jacob Tremblay is in this movie, and Mark Hamill. These are all people who have been in one or more of his shows or films before. So a lot of frequent collaborators. The film is narrated by Nick Offerman for some reason.
Okay. Why not?
Yeah, I know, right? It's just all right. And Mike Flanagan is also credited as the editor, as he normally is on his movies. He likes to edit them, and as someone who edits, I respect that because I understand that a whole bunch of timing is just let me just do it myself. Let me just I can see why Ridley Scott doesn't edit his films. He probably doesn't know how to use a computer, but
probably not.
Just
what's an AOL?
But Mike Flanagan is like, him and like people like David F. Sandberg, like Pony Smasher, like that. Those people, like, I really respect them as directors because like they have a true love of the craft without like the pretension that comes with it. It's just, no, I like making movies and I figured out how to do it on a pretty small budget and people like it. And, cool. I'm getting to do some bigger stuff, but I'm still doing stuff I like and I'm a normal looking person. And I really like that new crop of directors and watching them work, even if I didn't watch Shazam 2 or anything like that. I still appreciate the way that these people work. Like the fact that David F. Sandberg has a YouTube channel that I subscribe to and I eagerly await whenever, like every 9 months when he drops a video, because I'm like, ooh, it's going to be so good. It's always good. If Mike Flanagan did the same thing, I would do the same thing. Sure. So anyway, let's talk about the movie. Life of Chuck is a film that is told in 3 acts in reverse chronology. We start at Act 3, then Act 2, then Act 1. Okay. I can't really get into too much of the movie, as the trailer even doesn't, because I don't really want to give away the plot. So it's hard to review this because it's just hard to nail down and recommend to people. The movie is about, if you want to sum up what its message is, basically, it's just another YOLO movie. It's just another, hey, life is precious and life is a gift, and seize the day and do your thing and be you. And, cause you never know. And how much time you got left and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, like it's a very simple movie in that sense. So if you want to watch a movie that is not challenging with its themes, this is one for you. At the same time, that audience who wants an unchallenging narrative, I feel like doesn't want a challenging structure like reverse chronology. Sure. Or there are some elements, I don't want to say where or how, but there's a certain measure of allegory in this movie. That's something is really represents something else. And so it's like people, it's a weird mixture of two things that I don't think usually the same audience appreciates simultaneously. Okay. Yeah. And so in that way, I worry that it's not going to reach people.
Connect. Sure.
because you can't tell from this trailer what the fuck this movie's about.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's just Tom Hiddleston's dancing, and then like, you know, and then there's Chiwetel Ejiofor, and you know, and then Mark Hamill's talking about, you know, talking about dancing is math, and he's just it's this whole nebulous thing, and it's just like, it's one of those trailers where half of it is just quotes from critics, like a revelation, and you're like, of what?
Yeah,
like,
what happened?
What's the plot?
Yeah,
and I can't tell you without giving away a certain amount of the surprise of the movie, which I feel like, you know, is needed.
Sure.
So all I can tell you is that while I'm watching it, I'm seeing places I know because I live here. And so there's a big, long tracking shot down Dolphin Street. I can see O'Daly's and, you know, certain bars. And then there's a whole, that the section of the film where Tom Hiddleston's dancing in the street. They shot that at OWA. They shot that in like the water park little, because the front of it is like looks like a little Mayberry Town Square looking thing. And so I couldn't nail it down. I was like, where was this shot? And then I saw somebody walking to the exit. I could see the parking lot. And I was like, that's at OWA. And I went online and found the press release and the pictures. And I was like, wow.
Yep.
You know, so I spent a lot of the film doing that, and then just appreciating the performances. And for me, I'll say, if you do like Mike Flanagan's films, I think you'll still get a lot out of it, because you probably like these actors, and you like the way the man crafts a story. You appreciate editing and sound design choices, and, you know, timing is something I key in on Mike Flanagan's stuff. And so there's elements of like dread here that are horror in emotion, but it's not a horror. It's not in genre. So in a way, I don't know how this is going to be perceived in the long run. Maybe by the time we release this, we'll know a little more, but
sure.
I mean, see it in theaters. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't, there's no reason to.
Okay.
But there's no reason not to if you are excited about it.
Sure.
It's just one of those, like, I don't want to tell anyone not to go to theaters to see a movie unless you shouldn't see the movie. And then it doesn't matter where you don't watch it. Just don't watch it.
Right.
So I'm not going to say don't go to the theaters and check this out, but I will say, like, it's not like a big cinematic spectacle where you're going to be like, oh my God, you're missing out if you don't see it in theaters. Cause I just don't believe that's the case for this.
Sure.
But I went to support it. I mean, it's not made a lot of money. I mean, it's been out for a couple of weeks and it's made like $3 million. Yeah. I don't know what the budget is, but it's a Neon film. So Neon is just doing its thing and releasing films, and it's prestige, and it doesn't necessarily have to.
That's right.
I don't think this was ever designed to make a huge profit for that studio. So I don't interpret that as a low turnout. I just sort of, I don't know what I interpret that as. Like, you know, when you're Neon, what do you go? Just like, yeah, well, and we'll just release it, and we don't really give a shit how it does. Who cares? Like,
right.
Like, someone cares a little bit.
Somebody's got to.
So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to pin this down, man. I walked out of it feeling like, oh, okay, that was cool.
Sure.
Nothing mind blowing. Just another solid film by Mike Flanagan. I don't think it's the best thing he's done. I enjoy other things he's done more. I liked Dr. Sleep more than this. Most of America may like this better. I don't know. In a vacuum, I don't think this film is that impressive. But if you are seeing it as a part of his oeuvre, or if you are just a fan of Mike Flanagan in general, like if you like the other stuff he's made, then I feel like that's a push to check this out however you can or feel like, or you want to. I'm not here saying like, oh yeah, don't see it, it's not worth your time. Like, I think it is. I just don't think it's that mind blowing, or it doesn't break that much new ground. It just tells a story in an interesting and different way. I believe the book is in reverse chronological order too. So it's not like that was a choice by him. I believe that's, the same structure of the book. So, and it honestly has to be told that way. Otherwise it's not as interesting. I will say that like the first act, once it ends and you kind of realize, if you don't already know, like if you don't know by the end of the act what's going on, you pick up with it pretty quickly. But like there's a line at the end of the first act that's like, oh, that's what I just saw. But if you didn't guess it already, but by the end of that act, and you sort of realize like, oh, so am I supposed to care about that then? Or, you know, it's almost like an anthology in that way.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So that revelation puts you at risk of disconnecting with the characters you just met until you sort of recognize what they are in the overall narrative. It's hard to say if you haven't seen it, but
yeah, sure.
Just in that sense, it's like, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, well, that was pretty interesting though. That was cool. I want to see what happens. Like that was interesting. And now it's like, we're going to go backwards, and it's like, okay, we'll give some context to that. But that was more interesting. So
sure.
It's all interesting. It's just kind of segmented and split in that way. So like I said, in that way, it's experimental. It's going to feel experimental to people. And again, if you clicked on this episode of our podcast and you want to know what I thought of Life of Chuck, like you're at least curious about what this is. And so if you weren't interested, you don't hear my voice right now.
That's right.
So, So yeah, check it out, but manage your expectations. You're not going to walk out and be like, whoa, wow, this is going to win an Oscar. Like this film's not going to win any Oscars or anything.
Would you buy it? Would you watch it again?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
So
heard.
I'd watch it again, but I'd probably watch it like one more time.
Yeah. With somebody who hadn't seen it. With
somebody.
Yeah.
And then like, I'd want to see like, okay, now understanding the plot now, like, is it any better, or is it more meandering now than it was on a first watch? So, and my suspicion is that it would be more meandering the second time.
Interesting.
You know, like I feel like if I told you the plot right now, you'd be like, oh, well, there's no reason to see this.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah,
so,
sure.
You know, so however you choose to see it first is probably fine.
Okay.
I hate saying that because it sounds like I'm saying the movie's no good. I just don't want to mislead people.
Yeah, totally. No, so, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting choice. You know, it's kind of like when what's coming to mind is when Mumford & Sons put out that Electric album, and it's like, oh, okay, that's
cool.
That's different.
Sure.
And then they were like, all right, well, that was fun, but we're gonna go back to what we do. You know? So,
yeah. Right.
Okay, cool. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of weird. It threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
Don't understand it.
Fine.
Got it out of your system.
Right.
And we're all, you know, whatever gets you along your journey.
That's right.
So that's kind of how I feel about this. Like, all right, great.
Gotcha.
Let's make some more horror, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. You good now? You good? You made your feel good? Great. Cool.
Yeah. Please keep making movies here, Mike Flanagan. I had to be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
sweet.
That's Life of Chuck. The note that I have to ask you about here is to ask you what you thought of and you too, Callan, I suppose, the Clayface casting. And this is relevant because Mike Flanagan is writing that Clayface movie for DC.
Yes.
And they just cast somebody. His name is Tom Harries.
Okay. Yes.
He looks right to me. I don't know if anyone has strong opinions about what this dude's supposed to look like, but he's a young dude with a chiseled face and looks like an actor who might turn into a bad guy to me.
Sure. No, I don't have strong opinions. All I know is like the Clayface movie, look, the Joker movie kind of soured me on the idea of these villain movies, but then the Penguin was really good. So who knows what we're going to get out of this? Mike Flanagan's good. This could be good. But I don't know. I've always assumed, and it's, based on the BTAS episode with Clayface, where it's his origin story, and it's kind of like an aging old movie star that takes this formula to appear young again.
That was Ron Perlman.
Yes, correct. Ron Perlman provided the voice, and so yeah, this is like a young dude, so that's fine though. Like, again, I have no strong opinions. It's not what I would have done, because I would have just done BTAS again, but.
Maybe he's a young guy who gets canceled. Maybe he's like young and hot, but they found out that he he's a Nazi or something. I don't know, something.
Well, I guess we don't really know that he's going to be an actor. Like, have they? I don't know that they've revealed any synopsis. Have they?
I mean, but
maybe they did and I missed it. But I mean, it could be a complete reworking.
It should. I mean. Yeah, it just has a release. Doesn't have a official synopsis yet.
I do know that I heard Mike Flanagan give an interview, and they asked what inspired his take, and he did say that BTAS inspired it. He was like, it begins and ends there. He's like, I loved that growing up, and that is where I'm pulling from. So that's good.
Okay.
But again, your mileage will vary, because will this include a Batman? Probably not.
Right. At least not until the very end. They'll tease one.
Maybe
they'll do the same thing with the Penguin. They'll just put the bat symbol up.
Well, it depends. Is this going to be in the DCU, or is this outside of the DCU, or is this in Matt Reeves' universe?
It says DC Studios movie. I guess that doesn't narrow it down. That's non-committal.
No. Yeah.
That's just who's making it.
Yeah.
So this is literally the first I've even heard about any of this.
Oh.
Can you repeat that again? It's Flanagan doing a side story villain movie for Clayface.
He's just writing it. But the director is James Watkins, who did Speak No Evil.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It almost feels like the DC is doing, well, let's just run the opposite way Marvel is and just make a bunch of separate movies with our IPs. I don't know.
But also do a connected universe.
Well, what is that? Like, ever since James Gunn it did whatever overhaul, I'm like, has even one of those stories come out yet?
Creature Commandos. It's the only thing.
Is that the animated thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What's his name? Who's the character I like? Dr.
Phosphorus.
Yeah.
And so that's the true kickoff, and then Superman comes out in a few weeks, and then Peacemaker season 2, which is also confusing because Peacemaker season 2 is canon to DCU, but Peacemaker season 1 is not, unless the event is specifically mentioned in season 2, in which case it is retroactively grandfathered into the DCU.
This is so stupid. They should have just said Superman.
Hey, look.
God. Anyway, so I know I totally sidetracked what the actual conversation was about. But this is all news to me, but the fact that it's so broken and stupid makes entirely, a lot of sense for DC in the moment.
Yeah, so here's my take on this. And I don't know if this episode, if Life of Chuck is going to come out prior to Superman's episode.
Yeah, it's coming out Friday.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna sort of give you where my temperature is with the Superman movie. So, and then check back later for the full Superman review and see how biased I am and how much I loved it. Here's what I'm thinking. All the Superman stuff I'm going to really like. All the other stuff I'm going to feel like it's distracting from Superman. And that's where I'm at with it. I think that they should have gone, if this is the true kicking off point of their universe, I understand the temptation to include lots of other things that you can then spin off and build the world, and I get it. However, with your kickoff film, you need to make sure that Superman is squarely the protagonist and is treated with full focus, and not have that focus pulled to other characters that might eventually be in their own things. That's where I'm at with it. I could be wrong. And I am biased towards Superman. So when this movie comes out, prepare for my review where I give it 4.5 stars and say, this is great. And I loved it. And it's great. And then in 2 years, when I say, actually, it's more like 3.5, that's where I'm at. That's what's going to happen. I'm calling it now.
Dustin,
Okay.
your pessimism hurts my heart. Because I'm also super pessimistic, but also at the same time, I'm like, no, we need you. We need your energy, your positive energy.
No, I
think we finally pulled Dustin down, Callan.
No, he was the best of us.
You didn't. It was the whole mechanism of Hollywood.
It was Cal Penn getting crushed by rocks.
Is that a Superman Returns reference? What is this? Wow. Deep cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulled that one out from the dark recesses.
I was going to say, I didn't even remember he was in that, but okay. Until you said it. And I was like, whoa, wait, brain made connection between Superman and Cal Penn too quickly. No, I don't know. I mean, who knows? It could be great. I hope it's great. I want it to be great. I want a good Superman movie. I want nothing more than to swap out this poster of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with a Superman poster. That's what I want for my room. But I will only do it if the movie's good.
I'm looking forward to all of it, just in general, just from an entertainment perspective. But I am sort of bracing for like the shared universe, disjointed impact that I'm probably gonna have opinions on for sure. I do like the idea that someone said, "Hey, we should make a Clayface movie, and it should be like a horror film." Like, I hope that that's really stuck to. I hope that that's at least that it can feel unique like that. And we should get Mike Flanagan to write it.
But if it were me and somebody said, I want you to write a Clayface movie, the first question I would have is, can I utilize Batman? Because here's the thing. If the answer is no, then the question is, how do you create a horror movie where the protagonist is the monster and make it satisfying? You almost have to have a protagonist character who is terrorized by the monster in order for the horror movie element to work. Otherwise, it's just like a thriller, drama about a dude who's sad.
Otherwise, it's Morbius.
And that's fine, but it's not a horror movie at that point. So if they're like, if it were me, it's a horror movie. Great. Love that idea. Who is he terrorizing? Mm-hmm. It's got to be Batman.
Wasn't that basically Morbius's problem? I mean, I didn't even come close to seeing that, but the villain was the monster. The protagonist was the monster.
Did Morbius have one problem?
Yeah, just that one.
That was the problem.
Everybody else was showing up in suits and stuff. It must have been good, right? I don't know. Pop culture confuses me these days. It will happen to you.